You crossed into our land, now tell us your secret.
But I never expected to find you.
He was lost, starving, and barely alive when his horse finally collapsed at the edge of Apache territory. He thought the worst was over, until a group of Apache women found him unconscious in the dirt. But when they searched his belongings, they discovered something that made them freeze. This cowboy wasn't wandering into their land by accident. He was carrying a secret connected to a mystery their people had been hiding for years. And what they uncovered next shocked everyone. If this story kept you hooked, like, share and subscribe for more unforgettable frontier stories. Now, let's head back to the story. Cole Mercer stumbled through the dry canyon with barely enough strength to remain on his feet. For days, he had survived on almost no food or water, while his exhausted horse struggled behind him. His clothes were torn, his face was covered with dust, and every trail he followed seemed to disappear beneath the harsh frontier landscape. He knew he had crossed into Apache territory, but there was no way back. A violent storm had destroyed the trail behind him, leaving him trapped between steep cliffs and endless wilderness. With the sun burning overhead, Cole finally spotted a small hidden spring. He reached the water, dropped to his knees, and collapsed beside it. Just before losing consciousness, he noticed several women standing silently on a distant ridge, watching him. When Cole opened his eyes again, he found himself surrounded by Apache women. He expected danger, but instead, they offered him water and carefully examined his belongings. Then one woman noticed an old silver pendant hanging beneath his torn shirt. The oldest woman, Mara, froze the moment she saw it. Cole immediately noticed her reaction and asked what the symbol meant. Mara refused to answer. She only ordered the others to take him back to their camp. As Cole recovered, he realized something was wrong. The women kept looking at the pendant and whispering among themselves. Finally, Cole explained that he had found it years earlier inside his father's old saddlebag. His father had disappeared when Cole was young, and nobody had ever explained what happened to him. Mara warned Cole that some truths were dangerous. But Cole refused to leave without answers. Then Mara quietly revealed that the pendant belonged to something her people believed had disappeared many years ago. For the first time, Cole wondered if his father's disappearance had never been the mystery he thought it was. Maybe the truth had been waiting for him here all along. Cole spent the next morning recovering inside the Apache camp while the women continued watching him with quiet suspicion. He could feel that they knew something about his family, but every question he asked was met with silence. Finally, Mara sat across from him and began asking about his father. Cole explained that his father, Daniel Mercer, had disappeared when Cole was only a boy. He had left home on a journey west and never returned. Cole had grown up believing his father had died somewhere in the wilderness, but he had always wondered why nobody ever found his body or belongings. Mara suddenly asked whether Daniel had ever mentioned a place called Black Ridge. The name immediately caught Cole's attention. He remembered hearing it once from his father, although he had never understood what it meant. Mara exchanged a worried glance with the other women. Later, Elena, one of the younger women, opened an old wooden chest that had been kept hidden inside a small shelter. Inside was a faded drawing. Cole immediately recognized the symbol shown on the paper. It was the same symbol engraved on his silver pendant. But the drawing contained something even more shocking. A man stood beside an Apache woman and a young girl. Mara finally admitted that the man was Cole's father. According to her, Daniel had once saved several women during a violent attack before disappearing from the area. He had promised to return, but he never came back. Cole struggled to understand why his father had hidden this entire part of his life. That night, someone secretly entered the camp and tried to steal the pendant. Elena caught the intruder, but he escaped into the darkness. Now the women knew someone else was searching for the same secret. Mara warned Cole that Black Ridge might contain the answers about his father, but reaching it could put everyone in danger. Cole refused to run. For the first time, he realized that finding his father's truth might also reveal why someone was still willing to kill for it. By sunrise, Cole understood that the strange attack at the camp had changed everything. Someone knew he possessed the silver pendant, and whoever wanted it was willing to follow him deep into Apache territory. Mara finally decided that hiding the truth was more dangerous than revealing it. She told Cole about Black Ridge, a remote stretch of land where an abandoned settlement had once stood. Years earlier, several families had been forced from the area after powerful ranchers secretly claimed their land. Daniel Mercer had discovered documents proving that the land had been stolen through forged records. Before he disappeared, Daniel had hidden the evidence somewhere near Black Ridge. Cole could hardly believe what he was hearing. His father had not simply vanished. He had been protecting something powerful enough to make dangerous men hunt him. Cole, Elena, and 2 other women left the camp and traveled toward the ridge. The journey was difficult. They moved through thick trees, narrow trails, and rocky slopes while constantly watching for signs of the mysterious stranger. Then Elena spotted fresh horse tracks. Someone was following them. They continued carefully until they reached a fallen tree near the base of Black Ridge. Cole remembered the symbol on his pendant and noticed the same shape carved into a stone nearby. He pressed the pendant against the carving. A hidden mechanism moved. Behind the fallen tree, a narrow stone entrance appeared. Inside, they discovered a concealed chamber filled with old maps, letters, property records, and a sealed metal box. Cole opened one of the letters and immediately recognized his father's handwriting. Daniel explained that he had survived the night everyone believed he had died. He had been forced into hiding because armed men were searching for him. He also revealed that the pendant was meant to guide Cole to the hidden evidence if he ever discovered the truth. Cole opened the metal box. Inside was an old photograph showing Daniel standing beside a young Apache woman and a little girl. Elena stared at the photograph in disbelief. She recognized the girl. It was her. Now Cole realized the secret connecting his father and the women was far deeper than anyone had told him. Cole stared at the photograph, unable to speak. The young girl standing beside his father was Elena, and the realization left him questioning everything he had ever believed about Daniel Mercer. Mara finally revealed the truth. Years ago, Elena had been separated from her family during a violent attack. Daniel had found her alone and protected her until the women of the camp could take her in. He had promised to return, but before he could, the men hunting him discovered his trail. Cole suddenly understood why his father had disappeared. Daniel had not abandoned his family. He had been trying to protect another family from the same men who had threatened him. Before Cole could ask another question, they heard horses approaching through the trees. The stranger had found them. Cole and the women quickly gathered the documents and escaped through the forest. Gunshots echoed behind them as their pursuers closed in. Elena led the group toward an old watchtower while Cole deliberately rode in another direction to draw the attackers away. The plan worked. After a dangerous chase through the rocky hills, the group reached the abandoned tower and discovered another hidden compartment. Inside were the final land records. They proved that powerful ranchers had used forged documents to steal thousands of acres from several families. But there was something even more disturbing. A letter revealed that Daniel had been captured after refusing to reveal where the remaining evidence was hidden. He had survived long enough to hide the final records, but he never escaped. Cole finally understood that his father had been murdered for protecting the truth. The captured attacker later admitted that the ranch owner's grandson had sent him to destroy the evidence and recover the pendant. Cole now had a choice. He could leave the territory and forget everything, or finish the mission his father had started. Looking at Elena and the women who had saved his life, Cole made his decision. He would expose the truth. For the first time in his life, Cole was no longer searching for his father. He was carrying on his father's final promise. Cole returned to Black Ridge with Elena and the women, determined to uncover the final piece of his father's secret. The hidden records contained undeniable proof that powerful ranchers had stolen thousands of acres through forged documents and intimidation. Families had been driven from their homes while the truth was buried for decades. Cole discovered one final letter from his father. Daniel explained that he had never stopped thinking about his son. He had wanted to return home, but the men hunting him would have followed him and endangered Cole. His final hope was that someday Cole would find the pendant, discover the hidden records, and understand why he had disappeared. Cole struggled with the truth, but he refused to let anger control him. Instead of seeking revenge, he decided to expose the people responsible. The captured attacker confirmed that the ranch owner's grandson had ordered the destruction of the evidence. The documents, letters, maps, and testimony were enough to reveal the entire scheme. The stolen land was eventually returned to the families who had been wrongfully removed from it. For the women, the truth brought closure. For Cole, it changed the meaning of his father's disappearance forever. Before leaving, Mara returned the silver pendant to him. She told him that Daniel had once carried it as a promise to protect those who could not protect themselves. Now the promise belonged to Cole. He rode away from Apache territory as the sun began setting behind the mountains. For the first time, he did not feel like a lost cowboy searching for a father who had abandoned him. He finally understood that his father had sacrificed everything to protect others. Cole looked back toward the camp and saw Elena standing beside Mara. The women who had first discovered him weak and unconscious had ultimately revealed the truth that changed his entire life. The greatest secret was never the hidden land or the silver pendant. It was the truth about the man Cole had spent his whole life trying to understand. And now, his father's story would never be forgotten.